I don't often, my job doesn't often involve watching a lot of non-Hindi films, so my questions could be very ignorant and could be very rudimentary. Please bear with me, both you and you. But I really want to start by telling you about this film that I discovered by accident. I mean, Mahanati, I should have seen it. I mean, I'm a film critic. I should have seen this film when it came out, and because everyone was talking about it, and I discovered it actually because I was going to interview Dulquer because he's just made a Hindi film, and about 2.5 weeks ago I was going to interview him for that film, and I said I need to watch some of his material. So let me find what's available online, and there was Mahanati and there was Bangalore Days, and I said let me watch Mahanati, and I will just fast forward to his portions because I know he's just a character in the film. And it was just so compelling, I didn't stop. But, anyone who's watched that film knows that and is thinking, idiot, you should have known that already. And yes, I'm sorry, I really should have known that. Such an extraordinary film, such an extraordinary film. What an incredible film, because this is the story, of course, of Savitri, the actress. And you, I have to say, you look nothing like what you look like on screen. And I mean that completely as a compliment. I mean, she's
so
incredible. And it's an interesting and important biopic, but I don't want to speak. I feel like I'm hogging this, so we'll get into this. Nag, why was this an important story for you to tell? How much did you know of Savitri's life? Why was she a figure that deserved a biopic?
Thank you for all the good words, and I think a lot of us who growing up, we've seen all the black and white films, all the films from that era that we've seen. Almost 2 out of 3 of them have Savitri Garu in the film. So growing up, for me, she seemed to be like present, whether the actors used to change, right. Used to be like NTR or ANR or somebody else, but Savitri Garu used to be there in every film. So I found that fact very interesting as I grew up. And at some point, I think very selfishly, I wanted to recreate some of those classic movies that she was part of. Like, it's like amazing to remake those old songs, those old sets. So the idea started there. And then when I started learning more about her life, I just realized that forget the movies, there's so much more here.
Right. Priyanka, Swapna, for you, I mean, did you all see this as a challenge? I mean, making a period film, making a film based on the life of someone who has existed. I mean, these are the at least the immediate challenges that I would assume, as an outsider. But what were the bigger challenges, or what were the main challenges when you all decided we're going to do this?
Yeah. Somehow cinema's been a part of our lives. We grew up in it. So watching black and white cinema essentially was a very, very vital part. And somewhere when Nagi said this is the idea, we just jumped at it. We said, this is a film we're going to make. But when we actually got into it, the biggest challenge at that point of time was first and foremost to find Savitri Garu.
Right.
So who is she? Who is going to represent her? Who's going to enact her was the biggest challenge. That took forever. And then later, every part of the film, every day was pretty much a challenge for us, recreating the sets or the costumes or, casting for the other characters and, shooting something like Amaya Bazaar, which is an epic. We had sleepless nights, like what would people say if we go wrong?
Right.
So things like this. So every day was a challenge. But somehow, this film, that challenge was so sweet. End of the day, the kind of sleep that we would have had, it was just the most amazing feeling, yeah.
Right. Did you want to add?
Yeah, I think for me the most challenging part was recreating the sets, and especially her house, the cars, her costumes, because it's something that people know and don't know about her. So you just need to get both of them together and balance it in a way. So yeah, that was quite challenging.
Something I just want to add for
Please.
perspective is like Priyanka and Swapna are like super involved in every part of the design of the film. So the sets and the art department is something Priyanka took care of, the costume, the look, Swapna took care of. So just for perspective.
Sure. I know we have a clip, a making of clip, and maybe they can cue it. But before that, Keerthy, what was it like landing this part? And was there an audition process? How did you land it? Did you know that this was going to be the film that it is? Did you know that this was going to be the part that pretty much puts you on the map?
No, there was no audition. Swapna and Nagi, they approached me and I heard the whole narration and I said, it's fantastic. And I went back and I said, no, I'm not doing it. So that was a big question. They were like, what? You're not doing it? Why? I had to, there was a lot of thought process. So Swapna couldn't understand what's the big deal. I mean, why should she think of doing the character of Savitri Garu? But that was my, I had so many apprehensions, like, why, how could I do it? How could I bring justice to this? So I really didn't know if I will be able to pull this off. But at the end of the day, I had to and some instinct, I just said, okay, fine. I mean, if not now, I'm not going to get this character ever in my life. So why not? Okay, let me take this challenge. And that's how we started. And I really didn't think like, whatever has happened today. Because that day when I signed the film, I was like, okay, what are people going to talk about me? Like, she didn't do justice. She cannot,
The fear of failure, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the only thing that was, in my mind. But today it's all turned ulta, like it's like all positive and getting all such positive comments all around. And I think this is something which we never expected. And I was just telling Swapna that it's so good that we never expected this, that I knew this was going to be a good movie, but I didn't know this was going to be a superb movie.
Right.
So good that we didn't expect this, because today we're enjoying the success more because we didn't expect this.
Right.
And
But were you a fan growing up? I mean, she was, of course, working way before your time. Were you a fan? Did you
Of course,
watch?
like how Swapna said, even I'm from a a filmy background, so I used to sit and watch all these movies with my grandmom and my mom. Like they used to make me sit and make me watch all the black and white movies. So I was a big fan of her, and I am a big fan of her. And it wasn't new. Knowing Savitri Garu was not something new, so I knew her movies. So, but when I had to do the movie, I specifically had to, do some homeworks, little bit of homeworks. Nagi had given me a few clippings of hers where it was divided into emotional scenes, humor, So, and I actually just watched them once. It was not that like I used to go back, put them on repeat mode and watch it again and again,
Right.
because you will get a fear, you'll get scared, like you can't do like that,
Right.
So I just used to watch it once and just have it in my mind. And there were so many other homeworks, and Swapna and Priyanka, I think this whole project was like very passion driven.
Yeah.
And like without these two producers or without Nagi, I think this wouldn't have happened. So
But did you have a brief, Nag? Did you have a brief for her in terms of was she meant to channel the person, or was she meant to mimic her? Was there a brief in terms of how you wanted her to approach that? Because this is a tall order for any actress, let alone someone so young.
Yeah. As in, there were obviously parts of the movie which we were trying to recreate,
Right.
like everything in black and white. So there, we were trying to match as much as we could. But the rest of it, it was just
so-
it was just incidents, and we just used to talk about her. She used to behave this way. She was very playful. Savitri Garu's daughter, Vijaya Garu, is in Chennai, so she helped us a lot.
Right.
So she used to come on set. She used to talk to Keerthy about how she used to tie the sari, how she used to put like her daily routine. So
Right.
things like that just helped Keerthy like get small nuances.
Was that very helpful for you?
it was, because we have seen her on screen as an artist. Like, you don't know her as a person, right? So to know her personality, I used to ask Vijaya Garu about, how, her small mannerisms and everything. And in fact, we shared a lot of things. So she was surprised about that as well. And this is the first thing I asked Nagi when I was at the set. I asked him, like how we see her on screen, is that how I'm supposed to act the whole movie?
Right.
So he was like, no, we need a difference between, how the portions that we replicate and
personal life and
the
the-
personal life. So that was a big challenge, to do the personal life, something that not everybody has seen, and to do that, and something that everybody has seen,
Right.
to replicate that. So both was, very challenging.
Sure. To the three of you, when you're doing a biopic, when you're doing a life story, there's a lot of life to cover. How did you arrive at what to keep? Because I really feel like it's one of those biopics, it's really one of those rare biopics that is not, it's respectful of its subject, but not reverential in the way that a lot of biopics are, and therefore become fawning and become too much of, maybe whitewashing or just too reverential. How did you arrive at what to keep and the tone to take?
yeah, like you said, there's just so much of a life, like 46 years and 300 movies, and it's just too much to fit into even if it's a 3-hour movie, and out of that 3 hours, we have that journalist characters who take half an hour.
Correct.
So trying to fit in everything in 2.5 hours took a long time. We were writing for a very long time. We were editing.
He actually had 2 parts.
And given a chance, he definitely wanted to.
2 parts, sure. And had you known how it was going to turn out, you could have well pushed for 2 parts, right?
Yeah, as in like content-wise, like the script could have been long enough to be 2 parts. Then we edited the script, and then we shot, and then we edited the film, and
is there a lot that will go on the DVD, the director's cut?
Not so much, actually. I think thankfully we had like so much time for post. We had a very healthy time for post, so we could just understand like how to tell everything that we wanted to tell, but not drag anything.
Right.
So I would say we have almost 95% of whatever we shot in the film. Like barely 10 minutes is not there. That's saying a lot, actually.
Was it hard to decide? Because it's true, you see the film and you can see that it, like I said, it's respectful, but it doesn't shy away from addressing things that may be uncomfortable. A lot of biopics do that; they just don't address what's not comfortable. Was that important for you that it be honest?
Yeah, because I think if I wanted people to connect with Savitri Garu, and if I wanted people to like feel with her, they need to see her flaws as well.
Right.
They need to see everything. They can't just see like what you think is the heroic part of them. They need to see how they fall, and only then will they appreciate. So first, we always had this conversation with Vijaya Garu also. So there were 2 ways, like everybody's scared, like either you make a very reverential one or you make an exploitative one.
Right.
So it's only 2 ways it can go. So this was like, it's a very fine balance that it worked out.
Right. But was that, tell me about that. I mean, were you all conscious of upsetting people? That's the other thing that can happen because there are a lot of people still alive. Were these things that were important considerations when the scripting was being locked?
Certainly it was, and especially for the family. I mean, right from the beginning, this is something that we wanted it to be very, very honest, as well as a great tribute. At the same time, we didn't want to hide anything. So yeah, it was a very delicate step for us to, pick up what will have to go in, what doesn't. And in fact, I think personally, we had touched most of our life. I don't think we've held back on doing any of that. But then, to a large extent for us, cinematically, there was so much more that we could have shown.
Right.
There's so much more great cinema that she's done. So many more
Moments from her
fantastic
films,
episodes, yeah. So those things we definitely missed. And now it feels more terrible, like wish we shot another 2-3 days. Right. Wish we just kept it as our, database and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a little regret we've had.
Yeah, there were 28 songs I wanted to recreate. It's too ambitious.
Yeah, I would imagine as a fan, right? As a fan, that's just, yeah.
I think we ended up doing about 8. But, yeah.
Wow.
And also somewhere we just felt it's very important to show why she ended up, how she ended up. Like, why did she drink? Like, there was a reason for it, you know. So it was very important to show that side and the reason for it. Yeah.
Right. Do we have the clip? Can we see the making of clip if we have it?
అది ప్రియదర్శిని వదిన ఆ పేటిక తెరిచి చూస్తే అందులో ఎవరి ప్రియ వస్తువు వాళ్ళకి
It's really a wonderful film and you should seek it out. If you haven't watched it, please seek it out. Whether you understand Telugu or not, I don't understand Telugu, but it comes with subtitles and you'll really, really enjoy it. Keerthy, Rani Mukherjee was here. We were doing a panel with her just before this. By the way, she loves your film.
Yeah,
she said it, and they're all evidence. She said she loves the film. But one of the other things she said that was interesting about another film, she was talking about one of her own films. She says, I think it was Hitchki, and she was talking about how, getting the Tourette's right is one thing, getting the physicality and what is the outward part of it right is one thing, but getting into the head of the character is also very important. Understanding why she does what she does, understanding motivations, and it's interesting. It's exactly what Priyanka just said. What was harder here about sort of looking and channeling what Savitri Garu looked like and danced like and acted like, or was there a lot of work involved in also just getting into her head and understanding why she drank, why she was drawn to a married man, why she made wrong decisions, why she abandoned, why she was willing to give up on her family for the sake of this man. Was that all hard, just getting into her head?
Yeah, I mean, this was the major part which made me think while signing the movie. I asked Swapna, is it okay? I mean, the thing is, she has great respect and everybody loves her. And, I don't want to come and show that the other side of her and, make it feel like, that shouldn't be a problem. But Swapna said, this is something. And that's what Nagi said. This is something everybody knows. And it's not something, we're not inventing something new over here. So that was my major apprehension. And while shooting it, I think the first time to get into it, it's not very easy. After shoot, you have these very bad days when you shoot such scenes. When you come back very depressed, you have that very heavy feeling. So I used to tell Nagi where towards the end of the movie it goes, you can't really enjoy that part after shoot. So it's not at all easy doing all those scenes. And I had a lot of doubts while I was doing that, but luckily now when I see the response and people are loving it after seeing the movie, like like how Nagi said, I think that's the best part of it, not showing just the heroic part of her, showing the other side of her. Yeah, I mean, we all are humans and we all have our, good and bad times and positive, negatives, everything. And that's what has got the movie together. I think all these put together.
Right. What for you was the most exciting part of, I mean, of course, as a fanboy, you said recreating the moments from some of your favorite movies. But, one of the things that I thought was incredible, which again, ignorant me didn't know, was how pioneering she was as a filmmaker. I mean, there's a point at which she becomes a producer herself and she's tearing checks herself when payments need to be made. She becomes a director pretty much by default because the women kind of tell her you need to mobilize these movements. These are fascinating, incredible stories which a lot of ignorant people like me don't know, and I'm guessing some of you also don't know. So I'm not taking full responsibility for being the only ignorant person in this room. But what was for you the fascinating bits?
I think one of the most fascinating bits for me was the fact that she was a race car driver, and she regularly took part in like races at Sholavaram racetrack in Chennai.
Right.
And she was apparently extremely, like, not just on the racetrack. She used to try to race a railway gate on the way to the studio. So there are like first-hand accounts of people who sat next to her. So stuff like that was very interesting. And there was obviously longer scenes when we started writing out where she's best friends with Meena Kumari.
Right.
So they both had like a very soul sister sort of bond, which we wanted to explore but didn't have the time to. So things like that, which nobody knows, and unfortunately, things like Meena Kumari, nobody will know.
Right.
But stuff like that was exciting.
For the two of you, were there, or actually for the three of you, were there some facets of her personality that stood out more or that appealed to you more?
No, I think for us, especially the human side of her,
Right.
it's not only that we've heard about stuff like this when we were doing the film. Even way back, we've heard about this, this humanitarian of Savitri Garu. But then that's something which we thought, though her end was very tragic, we thought, Nagi had a great vision. I asked him at one point of time, what is that you're looking at? He said, I want another 4 generations to know Savitri Garu. And that was extremely exciting for us. And, that was the biggest challenge, and I think we, to a large extent, succeeded on that.
Yeah.
No, she acted in almost like 300 films. So I just don't understand. Actually, after Mahanati, I think I'm going to take like another 1 more year of break. So I don't understand how she's done 300 films. So that just fascinates me, like the kind of work she's done. That's why.